late going into having
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the UnSKripted, man. Look, this is one of my favorite shows of the week. We have a great time every single week. I bring in the biggest names on the block of professional wrestling, and I have a big name here, man. This guy is a real dude, man. I appreciate him, and you know, I've interviewed this guy plenty of times, and I really enjoy talking to him. And I've never interviewed him in Q&A style, so this is the first time of him being on UnSKripted. He's usually on my other show, but this should be fun, just like always. Former Ring of Honor World Television Champion Shane Taylor, how are you tonight, sir?
what's going on, man? First and foremost, congratulations on the doctor. It's a fantastic thing. I know you were putting in mad hours, mad work. You know what I mean? Good to see that payoff. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And it's paying off, if you know what I mean. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's awesome, man. Cool, man. So before we get into the questions, which there are some here, I was watching Final Battle, and you had a big win against Jay Briscoe, man. That's huge. How did that feel?
I mean, it's still kind of sinking in. You know what I mean? When I started professional wrestling in 2007, I was living in Pittsburgh at the time. And I would turn on my TV, and Ring of Honor, I think, was on like HD Net at the time. Mm-hmm. And on my TV screen, the very first thing that I saw was the Briscoes.
Wow.
Right? So to be standing across the ring from Jay Briscoe, former two-time world champion, former 11-time tag team champion, arguably, like I said, the biggest star Ring of Honor has ever produced, to be standing across from him on a stage like Final Battle, mm-hmm. and picking up a win in one-on-one competition, which I think in their entire 18-year run there, you could probably count on one hand. You know mm-hmm. what I mean? The guys that have beaten Jay Briscoe mm-hmm. one-on-one in a high-profile match on a big stage, to be able to be at that point in my career and to look across the ring from them, earn that respect, and hear them tell me Shane Taylor is the real deal, that means that's everything, you know?
Yep.
Ring of Honor prides itself on that history, on the originals, on the OGs. And for me, I want to be able to have everybody going forward be able to look at this era and go, this was Shane Taylor's era of Ring of Honor. And I want the OGs that were here that helped pave the way to look at what I'm doing now and go, that's the guy. Yeah. That guy could have done it in this era. He could have done it in our era. He is exactly what we were, you know, in our glory days.
Yep. Well said. Yeah. And it was big, man. I was actually quite surprised, pleasantly surprised when you picked up that W. You put on what's your Rikishi driver called?
Welcome to the land, baby.
Welcome to the land. Yeah. And you put what's the signature called? The pile driver.
The Marcus Garvey driver.
Yeah, Marcus Garvey driver. Yeah. Cool names. Where those names come from? Very, very innovative names.
Well, being from Cleveland, Ohio, it is affectionately known as the land where I'm from. So,
I'm from Columbus, born and raised. Yeah,
Cleveland. Yeah. We ain't gonna talk about last night. You know what I'm saying? We're both still kind of hurting, so we're just gonna smooth right past that. And when I saw, I've seen Rikishi do it, but when I originally saw it, Bam Bam Bigelow was doing it.
Yeah.
And he called it the Greetings from Asbury Park. Right? So where I'm from, you know what I mean? Like, we're not sending you greetings, you know what I mean? Greetings from Cleveland, but welcome to the land. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's where that came from.
Yeah.
And of course, excuse me, with Marcus Garvey being the leader, the economic and foreseer that he was about what we should be doing as a culture with group economics and things of that sort. That ties into a lot of the messages that I'm trying to teach, not only with the things that I say and outside of the ring, but what I bring into it, right? Yeah. Owning your own name, being your own brand, being your own boss, and, you know, making your spot, not really asking for one from somebody else, right? It's no different than when you look at music, right? And a lot of guys who are independent artists own their masters and things of that sort. Then they can partner with these major labels instead of working for the major labels. Yeah. And there's a huge difference, not only in the relationship, but in the profit margin when you do that. So, to be able to showcase both of those things inside of what I do in the ring, you know, was important. And I felt like it was only right to add that in. And there are, as my move sets sort of expand and evolve, there'll be more names coming for sure.
I love it. Yeah. Awesome explanations, man. And you know, we're Facebook friends, and so you saw my griping about the game last night. So that was my catharsis.
Listen, see, and someone asked me, right? Someone was like, "Hey, would you rather have had Ohio State win last night or the Browns win that playoff game against the Steelers?" And I was like, you know what, man? I've seen Ohio State win a couple national titles.
Yeah.
So I'm hurting, but I'm not too upset.
I hear you. To see
the Browns beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm from Cleveland. I lived in Pittsburgh for about 8 years. I had to listen to all the trash talk. I had to listen to all the smack. I just had to take it. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to do. Just had to take it. And to be able to get that W, it means so much to the city, so much to the team, so much to the fans. And possibly not only did we knock them out, especially after people were talking trash, Juju, especially after that, but to potentially retire Big Ben on top of it as icing on the cake.
Yeah, and beat Pittsburgh 2 straight weeks. 2 straight weeks beat Pittsburgh. That was huge, man. Yeah.
Oh, you heard it too. You heard it. You know what I mean? Yeah, y'all lost to the Jets. Oh, y'all barely beat the backups. Just wait till the starters get in and y'all home now. See what I'm saying? Exactly. Y'all home now. Exactly. You see what happens when you start running your mouth to people from Cleveland? You remember.
That's what I'm saying? Welcome to the land.
Like that Jordan, like The Last Dance. Yeah, we took that personally. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. And the Browns, they've won several NFL championships, but never a Super Bowl. So,
See, that's
see.
always my biggest gripe too. And no matter what it is, I hate when people stop and start history at certain points.
Mm-hmm.
That always upsets me. They're like, well, you didn't win any Super Bowls. Yeah, but we have 10 league championships. The
Yeah.
Super Bowl
Yeah.
is just a league championship. That's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
it is,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So it's like, well, before this period of time, you didn't win this. Who cares? Like,
Yeah.
it's not an
Oh, yeah.
argument.
Yeah. Plenty
The
NFL
number is 10.
championships.
The
Yeah.
number is 10. We have
Yeah.
10 league championships.
Yeah.
If you're asking me where our Super Bowls are, both of them currently reside in Baltimore, since they're the old
There you
Browns
go.
anyway.
Right.
So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get into these questions. Let's start with Guillermo saying, how was it working with Limitless Keith Lee? His name was mentioned during your match against Jay Briscoe, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean Keith is a big brother to me, just like Raymond Rowe is, Eric of Viking Raiders fame, however you know him.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling the road with the guys for years, you know what I mean, and to be able to pick their brains, learn from them, have them learn from me in some aspects, be able to take what they do in the ring, mesh it with what I do, and their overall personalities and what they bring to the table, not only as friends, as brothers, but as men. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is it's priceless. So
Yep.
that time that we got to be a tag team, which a lot of people don't know, we were a team for less than like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So to be a relatively new team on the stage that we were at, you know what I mean, essentially, going to cut our teeth as a tag team in one of the best tag team divisions in the world historically, in ROH, the matchups that we could have had, it could have been PBK against the Briscoes for a long time to come, PBK against the Young Bucks, PBK against whoever, and it would have been money across the board. But the goal when we started was for us to both have careers from doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And we've accomplished that main goal.
Mm-hmm.
I could not be happier for the success that he had in NXT to make history the way he did. I'm extremely happy for him to be on Raw now, doing the things that he's doing. And in my opinion, it is only going to be a matter of time before he is undoubtedly the very top guy on that brand.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, it was great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Ablash, you faced Cody back in 2018. How was his demeanor backstage, and what were your views on his rise over the past 3 years or so?
I am all for anybody having success. Cody puts in the work. He does what he's got to do. He invests in himself. I think all those guys did. And they're proving themselves right, which is ultimately what you want to do. I did the same thing here at ROH. I bet on myself and I'm winning, so you have to take your hats off to them for having the balls to do it, to be able to go out there and say, okay, call their shot and have it work. You have to respect that. So working with him in that match was great. He's a very talented guy. I don't appreciate the fact that, he used his wife and a bear to get a win, but that's just me. I would have preferred a straight up fight. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But that aside, hats off to him, man. You know what I mean? You can't really knock the guy for going out there hustling and, doing exactly what he said he was going to do.
Yep, indeed. Do you think it is essential for every wrestler to win a championship or not?
I don't think it's essential for every wrestler to win a championship. There's a lot of guys who were so popular and so big that they didn't really need them. And that having the title wouldn't have made them any more popular, right? So when you look at a guy like Roddy Piper, right? Mm-hmm. Roddy Piper was so famous and so big. Like, he eventually won the Intercontinental Championship, but he didn't need it. Mm-hmm. Like, it was just like, oh, okay, this guy's been a star so long, him not having one seems criminal, right? Yeah. So let's give him something.
Yeah.
But not everybody needs one, and then
Ted
not
DiBiase.
everybody's wrestling persona dictates that they need to win a championship either. You know what I mean? There are some guys who are there to be strictly the entertainment guy. You know what I mean? And that's just the role that they want to play. That's the role that they're in. That is a necessary evil of the sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think for guys and women that put in the work and they are there and they are deserving, absolutely. If the opportunity presents itself for them to be a champion, then that can only raise their stock, only increase their popularity, only increase merchandise sales, which is only going to bring in more revenue, which is only going to bring in more people, which is only going to create more jobs. So yes, if it's possible, they should.
I agree. I'm a big fan of, the person makes the title. I understand, sometimes the title makes the person. I get it, but I'm a big fan of the person makes the title. I'm old school, man. I've been watching wrestling for 35 years now. And, it's one of those things that when you see like people like the Ultimate Warrior, who was just so electric that you just had to put a title on them. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm a big fan of that. And sometimes you put, sometimes people are projects and you put the title on them and it really didn't last long. But at least it benefits them, because you can say I've been champion, I've been world champion, so it's a win-win.
I mean, because you never know what you have until you try.
That's
right?
True. Yeah.
So, a lot of guys have been world champion and it was test runs. Like, hey, well, let's see what we have. Let's see how the crowd responds. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the needle moves, whatever the case may be. And that happens as well. You know what I mean? So, if
absolutely,
it is what it is.
Yep. Where does ROH currently stand in the pro wrestling landscape?
That's a very subjective question, because that completely depends on what you're into as a wrestling fan. Me personally, if we're talking about ranking, I put us number 2. I feel as though we've been there. I feel as though with the reset that we've had, with the Pure tournament, with everything that we're doing now, top to bottom, from a complete show standpoint, we're number 2. Obviously, but I'm going to be biased. You could say, and if we're just talking United States, then undoubtedly, obviously, you have New Japan. You could be able to throw them in there. AEW, everybody there, top to bottom, is talented. And if you ask them what the rankings were, I'm sure they would tell you that they were in the exact spot that I just said we were in. You know what I mean? So it's expected. If you're not riding for you and yours, then what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
that's right.
I feel you could take any top 10 from any company, and an ROH top 10 matches up with them top to bottom.
Yeah, and for those who haven't watched Final Battle, watch it. It's a solid show, and I'm pretty critical when it comes to pro wrestling, because especially every Monday I have a show, Critique Raw with Vince Russo, and we've become, I call us 2 old guys in the bingo hall, because we've become so critical of the show, but there's some catharsis in that too. But I will say, man, ROH is solid. Jay Lethal's been my favorite wrestler for a number of years now. I'm biased toward Ring of Honor too, because of people like Jay Lethal and Shane Taylor. You get my vote too. Yep. We are witnessing an interesting partnership between AEW, Impact Wrestling, and to an extent New Japan. Can we expect ROH to get involved in this as well?
I mean, you can expect anything, but anything can happen. I have no idea. I think the important thing for Ring of Honor right now is to continue to establish who we are, continue to be exactly who we are. If the opportunity comes along to work with another company, I'm sure that it will be considered by those who make those decisions. My job is to go out there, lead my guys, and put on the best performance possible and lead by example. So that's what I'm going to do. You know, if different people from different places want to get their asses whooped too, by all means, line them up.
Guillermo, do you think it's hard for a wrestler to be successful to get over without a gimmick?
Not at all, because all a gimmick is, well, all it should be is who you are with the volume turned up, right? You've heard that a million times.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're authentic with who you are and you can relate to people, that's going to resonate. So you don't have to be something you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I came out and tried to be, you know, the Brooklyn Brawler, Shane Taylor, right? It's not going to work because that's not who I am. I don't even like baseball like that. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah. You don't have to be the Brooklyn Brawler, but you can be the Cleveland Killer, though.
You know what I mean? Like that's it is what it is. You know what I mean? But that's who I am. Who I am when you see me in the ring is the closest to my real personality that most people get, other than family and people that know me well, you know, which are still family. You know what I mean? The guy on the outside, the guy that you're talking to right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is business me. This is show me. This is entertainer me. This is, you know, exactly who I have to be in order to facilitate my career, to facilitate the lifestyle that I have for me and my family.
Yeah.
When I get into the ring, I get to shut all of that off.
Mm-hmm.
I get to take all the filters off. I get to take all of the hesitation off. I get to simply go out there and do what I've been doing since I was 10 years old, and that's punch people in the face.
Nice.
So I get to go out and be me, and that's why I think over the last 2 or 3 years, people have started to really go, "Oh man, I kind of like this guy." You know what I mean?
Yep.
He reminds me of people that I know that go out there and do the stuff that I do, say the stuff that I say, because all of it is authentically me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fantastic. What's the first wrestling match you watched? What's your favorite wrestling match ever?
Ooh. I could not tell you the first one I've watched, but I can tell you the one that sticks out the most. I've told this story a million times. My dad took me to the Richfield Coliseum in Richfield, Ohio, when that was still up and going. And that's where all of the, at the time, WWF tours would go.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was huge into bodybuilding at the time. So before the show, he would go like work out with all these guys. And so I'm sitting there as a kid rolling weights around, watching like Road Warriors and all these guys put up ungodly amounts of weight. You know, especially now that I'm older, I know how much that is. And I'm still like, geez, like it's ridiculous. There's no need to be that strong. Even doing this, there's no need to be that strong.
Right. It's all vanity. It's
right. Like it's all ego lifting. You know what I mean? Like at no point in time is a 600-pound bench press going to come into play in this scenario. Never. So to be able to watch those guys do that, to go to the shows, to be like sitting on the ring and talking to these guys and being around them. And I remember watching Texas Tornado versus the Warlord.
Oh, Gary Von Erich.
Right. And I don't remember the match being like particularly like crazy or like, oh my gosh, that was the best match ever. I just remember it went to a double count out, and everybody in that building was throwing stuff into the ring. They were losing their absolute minds. And I'm sitting there looking around like, I asked my dad, do they know these people? He's like, no. And at that point, I'm like, so two people who don't know anybody in this building got everybody here to be that mad, to be that upset. I'm in.
Yes.
I'm in. I am antagonistic by nature, right? I want to test you. I want to see where you're at. I want to see if you really believe what you say you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, come show me. Come prove it to me. I don't care about your rep. Come prove it to me, right? So to be able to see that, I was hooked. I was like, okay,
yeah.
You mean I could do this, get paid, and make people mad all at the same time? I'm in. I'm in.
Yeah.
There's no other selling point that I need. I'm in.
I love it. I love it. A match between Kerry Von Erich, Texas Tornado, and the Warlord
Right.
was one of
Doesn't
the.
jump off the page, right? It's not like
Yeah.
someone's like, oh, gotta see that match.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was good, but the reaction was
See,
incredible.
that's the reason why characters matter to me. Even this far into my my span of watching wrestling. Started watching wrestling in the mid-'80s, and just I'm just old school like that. I mean, just if you just that alone, it wasn't even the people, it wasn't even the wrestling, it was the reaction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That calls you to say, "Oh yeah, like I like this," you know. And
Man.
like for instance, for me, I was a Kerry Von Erich mark, man. I was a Von Erich mark because I thought that was just something about Kerry Von Erich that just really just oozed, charisma to me.
Right.
And he would, spin around and characters, man, it matters, and just the reaction. And you can be a heel one time, and some kid could be on the stands when COVID is over and be like, I like that guy,
Right. Right. Exactly.
I want to be like him. He's making people boo him,
Hey, exactly. And I'm telling you, and that was me. You know what I'm saying? That was me sitting there going, okay, all right, you can. This is a job. You can get paid to do this. This is what people do. Like, all right, yeah, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And as far as my favorite wrestling match ever, man, it would probably have to be Taker Michaels 1.
Okay.
That WrestleMania. I can't remember which one it was.
25.
I want to say maybe 25. Yeah. Yeah. That match, both of those matches, really. I mean, I feel as though you'd be hard pressed to find a match better than that. You could say Flair Steamboat, you could say Savage Steamboat. I understand. Well, great arguments. But there was just something special about both of those matches that, especially where both men were in their careers, to be able to bring out of each other on that stage, it only goes to further reassure the legend that both of them are. You know what I mean? So hats off to both of them. Absolutely incredible. One of the best matches I've ever seen.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and the referee of that match, Marty Elias. I'm good friends with Marty, so shout out to Marty Elias. Yeah, yeah. I would say that's probably third on my list. I would say first. Sting's my all-time favorite wrestler, so Sting, Flair, Great American Bash '90 would be my first one. I would say Chi-Town Rumble '89, Flair and Steamboat would be 2, and I would say 3 is probably a WrestleMania 25 with Taker and Michaels.
It is probably universally top 3 to top 5.
I agree.
Across the board.
Yep. A couple more for you. Dream match with anyone, past or present.
For personal reasons, my dream match would be myself versus Raymond Rowe, Eric of Viking Raiders fame, in the main event at the Tokyo Dome for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. If that was a scenario, that's the if someone said, "Hey, you have one match left, you only have one match, and then you got to retire," that's the one. You know what I mean?
Ooh, I like that, man. There's so much prestige in IWGP Championship too. That's a good choice, man. I like that. Speaking of that, is ROH still partnering with New Japan? I know for a while they partnered with New Japan with different things.
Until I'm told differently, the answer is going to be yes. But again, like I said, it is, I firmly feel our focus should be on building who we are I don't feel as though we need to take a side seat or a back seat to anybody.
I like that.
Continue to be who we are, rep who we are, worry about our fans, our people, and move forward.
Yep. Good stuff. Last question. What does the future hold for Shane Taylor?
Everything. Everything. I promised, and it was
The world
supposed to
strap
happen.
around your waist,
Listen,
man.
it was supposed to happen at Final Battle. I was supposed to get Khan and Moses those 6-man titles. They were supposed to start carving out their legacy at Final Battle. That was supposed to be the start. Obviously, that didn't happen, but the goals remain the same. I know there's a lot of people in Ring of Honor, factions like the Foundation, factions like La Facción Ingobernable, talking about how they want to, have all the championships in Ring of Honor. Well, y'all ain't the only ones. And the way I see it, you're looking at the baddest group in ROH right now is Shane Taylor Promotions. We're only growing. We're only getting bigger. We added O'Shea Edwards. We got more people coming. You know what I mean? We're playing that close to the vest, but we got more people coming. And as far as I'm concerned, we're already, the rightful 6-man tag team champions. I'm rightfully the number 1 contender for the Ring of Honor World Championship. That's going to come home with me. And as far as I'm concerned, even little brother, Dragon Lee, Ryu Lee, whatever he wants to call himself, you've still got my property, which is the TV championship. So the way I see it, we're coming for everything. And it's only a matter of time before we get it. It's only a matter of time before I send Khan and Moses out into the tag team division solo to let them go out there and get those tag straps as well. We're coming for everything.
Yes, love it. Shane Taylor versus Roosh. I see that coming in the near future, man. Yeah.
I hope so. I want to see what all the hype is about. I want to see it.
Nice. My man, Shane Taylor, let them know where to find you, man.
Of course. Twitter and Instagram at Shane216 Taylor. Of course, always Facebook.com/Notorious Shane Taylor. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching, for supporting. Continue to, rep and support because Shane Taylor Promotions is the faction, is the group, is the movement that is truly for the people.
Nice. Good stuff. It's been a pleasure, man, as always. Have a good night.
All right, boss. You too.